Oh man. Okay. Welcome back to another episode of Just Boolin'. This is gonna be a spicy one. Sketch and I just finished episode shit. This is now it's on the 4. Episode 4 now of X-Men 97. And it was a bit of a roller coaster.
Yeah.
And then, we got some breaking news. So we're gonna start with thoughts on the episode. You said it while we were watching it. There's a lot going on and a lot of things thrown at us with no context whatsoever.
Yeah, the Mojo thing, I feel like they're starting to step over their own feet with how to approach these episodes. Um, it's like, what do you lean on existing fans for, and what do you kind of like lead the fans to as far as like foreshadowing and shit like that? But for Mojo, who is not a main, like the mainstream who knows X-Men might not know Mojo. So you got to have a bit of a lead in. Now the Motendo and all that kind of good stuff, it was kind of a good lead in because it even if you're not quite familiar with him, you do kind of ask why. And it was a nice little Easter egg that the whole like thing will be a Nintendo 64. It was cute or whatever. But like there was barely any lead up to that at all. Like barely any foreshadowing. I know a little bit about Mojo and Spiral being one of my favorite characters. So like as soon as I saw Mojo, I was like, oh, okay, we're doing that now. But why? And like it was cute that they did like a video game themed, birthday for Jubilee, but like it just felt rushed. It felt it felt like they didn't tease anything, like, and the episode leading into it follows the story beats that we had going on last episode. But then at the very end with the adversary, it just popped up out of nowhere. Like
Completely out of nowhere.
And the whole Forge and Aurora thing is like there's obvious sexual tension there, but it's like in media res. And it's like anybody who's watching this and who's not like a longtime fan of the X-Men has no context for 90% of this. And at this point you have to pick. Like, who is this for? Is this for old fans? Is it for new fans? You keep saying it's for old fans, but you're trying to bring in new people. Like, you've got to come up with a middle ground.
I am not liking everyone being in a relationship. I feel like it is.
It's weird.
It's poor writing. It's easy. You could easily flesh out. You could have cut the whole, Jubilee and Sunspot fucking kissing and fucking having sex or whatever the fuck out and explain to us who Adversary was.
You know what's crazy?
That's not, you ran out of material. So at the end of the episode, the owl is going to turn into the Adversary and then cut to credit. Like, that'll keep him coming back. Like, no, like
that throwaway line about her having seen the owl before. Like, what context do we have for this? What significance does this owl have to Aurora and to the area, other than the slapdash what you put together in that little blurb? Also, I'm gonna put a pin in that because it's a symptom of the wider problem. But I feel like this is Baldur's Gate all over again. I didn't play the game, but I have a bunch of friends that do, and I heard about all the discourse online about it. And one of the biggest things I heard is like, why is everybody horny in this game?
That's what I thought it was. When I saw Baldur's Gate, outside of it being Dungeons and Dragons-esque, when I saw Baldur's Gate, the only thing I saw was fucking smut.
Yeah,
Who they fucked, who they were trying to fuck, yada yada yada. So that's literally what I kind of thought it was. Well, obviously I didn't think it was that, but I thought you don't add that component to the game without it being a major component that a lot of people just literally that be the only thing that they do.
exactly. And like they made it, they tried to make it seem like that was the game's whole personality. Is like, this is an RPG. That should be a small part of it. And I hate to say it, but growing up in the 90s and the 2000s, what better way to set up for a super adult storyline than to have some complicated ass past relationship and present sexual tension tied to it? That is the easiest way I've ever seen in any kind of show on television to instantly up the feel and the tone of it. I remember the first slightly off topic, but the first adult relationship I remember as a kid seeing on screen in like one of my shows and being like, wow, this is awkward and really like this is way above my pay grade. Thundercats. Chitara and Tigra.
Yeah.
They had this weird dynamic, and I remember like picking up on that in the show, and like I remember that opening my eyes to like seeing like that same situation in other like TV shows and stuff like that. Like, oh, that's weird. Okay.
I mean, Chitara was fine though.
I mean, obviously,
but yeah, I think I feel like as I'm watching X-Men 97, it is forcing me to go back and revisit some of the older stuff that I used to watch. I'm trying for the life of me to remember any kind of sexual overtones and again obviously we got the Chitara stuff in like He-Man or
there was. Like, in X-Men there was
I guess I didn't see it at the time.
It was the whole Jean Grey Rogue. Or Jean Grey Scott.
But I got those for the comics. I knew of those things. I knew
the memes from the TV show actually.
Well, yeah, the Wolverine and all that stuff like that. But yeah. I knew of the relationship with Jean Grey. I was being a fan of the X-Men. You knew that Scott and Jean Grey are together. You knew that they had a son named Cable. You knew that Rogue and Magneto got together. You knew that fucking
or OTP, like
everyone. There's a few relationships here and there, and it's like okay, we got this huge arc over here. 2 years later, you're telling the story of this person, but every episode has 7 minutes worth of relationship dialogue.
Yeah, and it's really weird. I will say I am not liking DaCosta in this one. I'm not liking Costa in this one at all. I'm not liking Sunspot.
I don't like that whole fucking.
You know what,
Robert? Yeah, that I'm the rich pretty boy, so this is beneath me to start with, and all my powers this, my powers that. You got zapped in a video game. Why are you wondering about what your parents can see? This woman is about to die, my guy. Why aren't you using your powers? That's gone on too long too. It's been 4 episodes now, and he's got one arm. We've seen.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't like how they're portraying this. If I'm honest, I'm not a big fan of their portrayal of Jubilee either. But I think that's just how they're gonna play it, just because they want to hold everybody. They're gonna hold everybody kind of static. I will say, for my money, this episode, old Jubilee is the Jubilee we deserve.
Yes,
I will cap that by saying I have never liked Jubilee.
She's never been my favorite either. I like her powers, but in my eyes, I'm like, what are you doing with Sparklers, my guy? We'll talk something else.
Yeah, like I always thought her powers were kind of dumb.
Seeing what she can do now,
yeah, like
changed my perspective a little bit.
I don't know. I think that's a bit of.
I always felt she was just that. She was that tie into the kids.
Yeah, that's exactly what she was. Like the whole.
What the kids love firecrackers.
Yeah, the whole Jubilee like cutting through shit or whatever. I feel like that's just like glazing. I don't know, but to each their own. Like I said, I'm not a big fan of Jubilee, so I might just be down on her. But that wasn't the word. That wasn't even the bad part of this. I actually kind of like that, seeing future Jubilee and giving that whole like perspective of being older and like it's time to grow up now. Like I like that. I like that a lot. Like I said, what I didn't like is the whole like them continuing to poke up the whole Magneto Gambit thing.
That's embarrassing at this point too. Like they playing in his face.
Yeah, like it's. I don't want to. You know what? Fuck it. This is partially my podcast too.
Yeah, say no. Say it. This is my podcast too. Say it. Yeah, say what you want to say.
Fuck this. I'm tired of this shit. All right, I've been quiet since the show started, but like when Mojo showed up, I had to say something. It's not specific to the show. It's to kind of Marvel and just nerddom in general. I'm not saying hush any voices. I'm not saying make everything macho. I'm not saying you got to dress everything in black, red, and blue and you know, massive pecs everywhere and mullets and shit like that. But does every single thing have to be theater gay? For goodness sake. Growing up as a straight black kid, nothing in popular media looked like me. Growing up neurodivergent, nothing really acted like me. And yet I still enjoyed my time in fantasy and science fiction. I still have heroes in comic books and movies and stuff like that. I felt represented because of the ideals that these characters represented, what they stood for, or what they didn't stand for in some cases. Like, I feel like we've forgotten the art of storytelling, bro. Like we forgot how to tell actual stories and just write fantasies. Like not write like fantasy, like people just writing daydreams now. Like daydreams and fan fictions and wouldas. Like woulda, coulda, shoulda. That's what they're writing.
My
bad, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, if any episode, that represents what you just said perfectly, the bad storytelling was this last one, in my opinion. It started off super strong. I feel like, because them in the game was cool. Them meeting new old Jubilee was cool. Them going through the doing and all the homages to all of the gamers and shit like that was cool. And then you got Jubilee and them kissing at it. I mean, it's like,
it was very jarring, and for obvious reasons. It's not like these are some finer points that I would have to be like a Hollywood writer, or you know what I'm saying, or a screenplay writer or some shit like that. Like, no, I just read a lot. I'm into these kinds of stories. So at some point in time, I pick it up, and this is not good.
And that's my feeling right now, currently, because it's up, and I feel like they got a bunch of. I feel like everyone gets a piece. This episode, you four people get one thing y'all pick and put it in the episode. So you got this cool part about them getting lost in a video game because it's Jubilee's birthday. She wants to go to an arcade. Magneto thinks she's training. I, for a long time, thought it was Magneto doing it so she could train and whatever. I'm like, all right, that's kind of cheap for, Magneto to do the whole mojo thing and stuff, blah, blah. But when it turned out to be real, I was okay, that's solid. That can happen. I get that. Okay, cool. And then it's like, and then they kiss and have sex because, Jubilee's legal now, so she's game for a relationship now. Then you got the
also
the 3 minutes that
I'll sorry, didn't want to break your train of thought. I just hope they talk about consent next episode.
So then they and then we spend so much. And then you and I were excited. We got to the end of the Jubilee stuff, and you were like, "Oh, second episode, they're getting back to it." We got a good 13 minutes. I'm like, "Oh shit, it's about to be good." No, we spend 3 minutes Forge attempting to get her powers back. They riding and walking through it. They see the owl, and I was like, "Okay, the owl. Okay,
here we go."
Then they get back and it's all relationship stuff. I love you, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. Then here's the adversary. Cut.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
You could have explained so much more if you took out the love part. The love part could have been saved for when she got her powers back. You got time to do that. Like, why are you cramming all of this relationship stuff in it? And again, I'm not against relationship. I love a good love story. I love a good, happily ever after, but not the pick and choose of who's going to be this episode. We got Gambit fucking getting played. He getting played in his face with Magneto and Rogue all the time. Oh, I got you coffee. Well, I already know how she like her coffee. Blah, blah. Like, come on, man. You just cut that whole shit out. I want you. It's Jubilee's birthday. What should we do for her birthday? I think you guys should train. Jubilee comes in. I want to go to the arcade. No, fuck that. You should train. The cool scene. We didn't have to see none of this shit with fucking Rogue and Gambit and all that fucking love triangle shit because we know where it ends up.
I'm all right. So that being said, before I give I give my final bits, I'm gonna focus on the good of the episode. I love the references to the old like Tiger Electronics games that they had going on in the Jubilee episode.
X Factor.
Yeah, in the background they had the pictures of X Factor with Jamie Madrox and Polaris and Wolfsbane and Strong Guy in the background. It was so cool. It looked like Children of the Atom when she was when her and Roberto were fighting. They had the 8-bit track going too. That was dope. I genuinely enjoyed that. I even enjoyed the bit with Spiral, as weird as that was. Overall, I think it both the episodes were solid in the fact that they were episodes. They did tell a coherent story. Nothing was horrendous. That being said, this is a nerd project, so it's a passion. It's already got passion behind it.
Yeah.
So the fact that it's just okay is not okay. There were there's several missteps and way too many tropes that you could just cut out and just tell the story.
I agree.
I feel like this is to give another metaphor. I'm bad about that, but it's like that interview of Jamie Foxx when he was talking about the first time when he went in the studio with Kanye, and they were recording
Gold Digger.
Not the one with Twista.
Gold Digger.
Marvin Gaye. Yeah. No, not Gold Digger. I make you a celebrity. Make you a celebrity.
Overnight. Yeah.
So Jamie's on the hook in that. And when he came in, he was like, "Yeah, I know R&B. I know this, and I got this kid. Don't worry about it." He starts going off and he starts ODing on the shit, like doing all the crazy runs and stuff like that. And Kanye was like, "Nah, don't do all that. Just sing the song." And he did. And Jamie, after he got the booth, Jamie was like, "Nah, that's just gonna be ass, trash. He don't know what he's talking about. I had some fire shit on there." And he cut all that shit out and just wanted me to sing the song. And then, like months later, he come back. And somebody tells him that they heard the song on the radio. The song is a hit. I think that's what's going on with X-Men 97. I think they have just a case of OD in it. They're trying to do too much artsy stuff and too much, would it be cool if we did it this way? And stop trying to change perspective. Stop trying to reinvent the wheel. If you tell a good story, motherfuckers will come. Case in point, Helldiver. Helldivers 2. They're not reinventing the wheel. They're doing a bunch of things that other games do. And in fact, I'm pretty sure there's a YouTube video that talks about everything in the game from the perspective of where this other stuff came from, like what games did this mechanic come from, that mechanic.
Really? I want to see that.
Yeah, I saw it in my recommended. But yeah, like it's the same thing here. They just stop overdoing it. Just tell a good story.
I
Also, the goddess thing is bugging.
I mean, I even say, I mean, we also completely we watched episode 3 also that covered the Goblin Queen and Madeline Pryor and her powers and
I wouldn't even
and,
that. They
and that wasn't even a bad episode. That wasn't a bad episode. Nate, going to the future with Bishop and rushed episode, but solid. I feel.
Yeah. I won't lie to you. The Executioner was pretty cool. I like that story.
I like Executioner. Let's see.
It gives the opposition some actual teeth. Like it's all cool to say, all the X-Men are cool, Scott Strong and Magneto and Bishop and even Morph and shit like that. But like to actually have the bad guys have some teeth and like have a name and a face, like it was pretty solid. Because I won't lie to you, I thought they were going to throw Random on there. Or some shit like that.
All right. So I mean, I think
yeah, they've called her goddess 5 times now. That I've heard, and they keep emphasizing. I'm like, why do y'all keep doing this? Like, I don't think they make it of a big deal in the comics as they do in this show. Like they keep harping on that, and I'm like, y'all are glazing her. Stop doing that.
I feel like they're writing like this is the only chance they got. Let's just throw everything in,
Yeah, they're being super heavy-handed, and it's starting to sound like fan fiction.
Yeah, so I mean, we got Adversary coming in at the end of episode 4.
So it's gonna be a good fight.
We obviously know it's going to spark the return of powers. 4 is going to help. Blah, blah, blah. So we'll have to tune in. We'll put that in. We'll talk about that.
Absolutely.
But pivoting and getting into some other news. I broke it to you right before. We started recording. They have casted, and I went and I read the article, but they have casted. Julia Garner, I'm not sure if anyone's listening know Julia Garner. She's from Ozark. She's been in a few movies too, but she's mainly known from Ozark. From what from me, I mainly know her from Ozark. She has been cast to play the role of a female Silver Surfer. I went and I looked, and they that wording is almost every article I've seen,
because they're basing it off of his wife.
So that means he has to, that means we get us
of Zenla and the lover of Norrin Rad.
So you can't have her without him.
Nah, don't do that, because we already did that with Silver Surfer. Don't. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think they've been trying to get rid of the Silver Surfer for a while now, just because of the way they like to play with him. But if they have recast the Silver Surfer, we're not gonna see him. She is the Silver Surfer. But once again, I'm asking, why are we seeing the Silver Surfer so early in their fucking storyline? That's cosmic shit.
Because if we doing the reboot, that first movie should cover obviously them getting them powers, them obviously forming the Fantastic Four, Doom being introduced. First, why would you go?
Or maybe not rehash, old ground, the Negative Zone. Because that could set you up for fucking Franklin.
Ooh, Franklin Richardson, man, he was a beast.
and the spot.
He alters reality, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And with the existence of the negative zone, that allows you to tie the fucking MCU multiverse to the Fantastic Four as well. They're missing complete opportunities here to do dumb shit, and I don't know why. Like, it's to the point now. I actually did some looking. I saw something that came come across my YouTube about the leader of the Acolyte, Leslie Headland.
Okay.
Y'all can have Star Wars, bro. Y'all can have Star Wars. Go watch the trailer. In the trailer, one of the characters says, "This isn't about power, or this isn't about good or bad. It's about power and who's allowed to use it." Bro, what?
Well, running out of stuff to do. So again, why not put your own spin on it?
We're not running out of stuff to do.
They're thinking obviously that closed mindedness means they have to come up with stuff like that.
I'm gonna put on my tin hat for like 2 seconds. Once again, they're not running out of stuff. This is clear. I'm not gonna put any energy out there, but it's clear at this point. When somebody picks a nerdy or a literary franchise to put on the big screen, 9 times out of 10, they like it, but not the way it's supposed to be. They want to change it in some way, in some large way. I don't know why. I'm done speculating. I don't care about the politics of it. But at this point, I just know it's going to be changed at some point. I give up trying to be optimistic about it. I was optimistic about it for years. And everybody's like, "Oh no, it's not like that. It's not like what you're worried about." And then it happens. They're like, "Why is this losing money?" It's like, you can say I'm pessimistic if you want to, but at the end of the day, when the new Star Wars trilogy, when it began, people were upset. They said, "You're gonna ruin it. You're gonna mess it up." Now here we are, and nobody's happy. So, but that's my 2 cents. Taking off my tin hat now.
Nah.
That's all I gotta say. Like, if you say what you want to, oh, this side's right, that side's right. At the beginning, we said this is gonna ruin it. Nobody's gonna be happy. And then here we are, 15 years later, and nobody's happy. And it's all going down in flames. Nobody's getting to see what they want to see.
And a lot of reboots and remakes are going down that same path because it's more of a we're rebooting this because we know that we'll get the money for it, and even if it's not true, like
yeah, they're not even getting
they'll watch it anyway. They'll watch it anyway.
Madam Web got shot down.
Madam Web. So Madam Web's crash and burn has me so scared for Craven because I'm excited for it because it's like he's a great villain, and that backstory on him will be great. But seeing what they did with Madam Web, I'm like, oh, fuck, man.
Well, to be fair, I'm not as worried about Craven.
Okay.
Because at least they can't mess up Craven. Because there's no way to doctor up Craven to do anything weird with him without completely like destroying his story. Craven is a hunter. He big man, he hurt people. So like, other than adding some convoluted story to him, they can't really mess him up too bad. And that's the only reason I can say with any chest that were I still paying for them, I would go and watch that movie just to see what it's about. I'm not going to, but
I'll remember that. I get a lot of credits because I go to a lot of movies, so
Yeah.
I'll let you know. Um,
But
I
as far as Madam Web goes, that was never. We knew it wasn't going to get out of the water because who outside of deep Spider-Man fans knows who Madam Web is? Not counting the people who watch the Spider-Man animated series. But like, who the hell knows who Madam Web is? Like, nobody can even tell me her real name.
feel like it was a horrible a missed chance to bring a lot of bring a spotlight to the Spider Universe and show people that Spider-Man come in all shapes and sizes, and it wasn't that at all. It was girl Spider-Man.
They did that though, and
Which did not to take away from the characters themselves. All of those Spider Virgins are amazing.
I know
the execution was horrible.
No, I will not. I will not. I am not on. I give up on apologizing for Marvel. The shit was horrible. The shit was trash.
Yeah,
it was a complete bait and switch. They give you a couple of
Sony.
visions of these, a couple of visions of these bitches in the Spider-Man, Spider-Woman get-ups, and for like 3 seconds, you're like, oh, this might be awesome. And then it's just that so Raven in the Marvel universe, minus Peter Parker. And the whole like including of Uncle Ben and May Parker for no other reason than what? To make her look good. The only person I give a pass to is what's her name with the glasses? Sweeney.
That's right, she was in that.
But the characters were ridiculous. The story was stupid. The villain was retarded. Sorry, I can't say that. My bad. Don't want to get canceled. But the villain was dumb.
Wasted.
And the whole like the spider people, like you had to come up with stop. Like, stop. At this point, I would rather you just go make another Rebel Moon or something. Like, at the very least, you can see the influences in there. It is an original IP, but you can see the influences. But Madam Web is like, this is fan fiction. Come on, do better, guys.
Well, we will see. We'll see if they. We're gonna see. I mean, next week we won't watch. Next week, Sketches out of town. He's going to Texas. He's going to be seeing the eclipse, which is going to be cool shit. I expect lots of pictures. But we won't watch the episode until Saturday next week. But so I'm very interested to see one how long that adversary fight is, because I'm gonna be so pissed off if it's a quick like 3 or 2 minutes. She get her powers back and she zaps them, and they move it on to the next couple. Yeah. So we will see, and we'll talk more about that. You got any final thoughts?
Final thoughts. Despite the vitriol, I'm still hopeful for this show because they've gotten a lot of goodwill. I'm hoping that it wasn't just them grabbing it just to drum up viewership. I'm hoping they stick with it. But I think this show really has some good potential. Just stop making the dumb, lazy decision and stop. Look, everybody loves a good romance story. Everybody loves drama. We get it. But that can't be your whole personality. Your sexual orientation and the amount of drama in your life cannot be your whole personality. Let's do better.
All I got is I do think that I still have this gut feeling that it's gonna get better. They're just getting their groove. We don't know the the ins and out on how this was written. We obviously know it was written a long time ago, animated a long time ago. So they're gonna take. We just hope that they're gonna take any feedback that they get. We know that they tune in to listen to us talk about it every week. So, once they hear us talk about it, hopefully enough that they'll take our opinions and obviously they value our opinions when it comes to that stuff. They'll fix shit. But until then, we'll see Silver Surfer stuff. We will see.
On that one.
Yeah. But we appreciate everyone listening again. Probably one of our shorter episodes. Appreciate you guys listening. Please drop a follow, share, comment. Please check out our Twitter and Sketches Shop. And we'll catch you guys next week. Later.